Okay, welcome back to the handheld phone at the bench. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this because I had just done a video on their one transformer, which is back there. This is the Erie Class 1 Model Works depressed car, number 7265. Okay, well, I got, looking at it, I looked at some prototype photos that I have, or actually, I have one prototype photo, and we're going to show it. When I do something, I'm not going to sit here and just tell you all the details on the car, yada, yada, yada. You can go elsewhere for that. There's other videos out there that show the details, but they don't show any prototype photos. So you have no idea what these cars are supposed to look like, at least from those silly reviews that I saw. So this car is the Erie car, again, number 7265. It looks close. The thing that I did, and I'm going to move over here, handheld, so bear with me. Okay, there's the car. I took the trucks off because I wanted to get some light on this puppy. Because I wanted to paint them. They are roller bearing, which you'll see in the prototype photo is not on the car in my era. But I took these off. I painted them. I haven't gauged them yet, but almost every single one of these, I guess it's brake rigging. They were loose, so I just put a little dot of glue, that Tamiya extra thin glue on them to hold them in. I did not take the wheels out. I don't want to lose the roller bearing covers because they look like they roll. These seem to roll. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, at least here on the bench. Now, I've read some reviews where the car does not roll well. You've got to put the trucks on, push down in the center to seat them in the. I don't know. You got to do something crazy. I got to try it. I got to put these back on the car and see how it looks. The other thing I did, I replaced the couplers that came with it with a KD 143 short shank coupler. The ones that come with it, they don't quite look like KDs. I'm not sure what they are, but they're definitely longer. If you look at your car, you're going to see the coupler sticks out pretty long. Now, I just looked at this and I just noticed, see how it's hanging down a little bit? So I'm not sure what I'm going to do to try to get that to come up. Maybe put a little shim inside it or something like that, but it needs to come up a little bit. See that? It's hanging low. Now, I have not checked it with the trucks on it to see how it rolls or how it is, coupler height wise. Maybe the couplers like this are fine. I'm not sure. But okay, so let's take a look at the prototype of this Erie car. Erie had these cars in a series, I think 7261 to 7265. I have a prototype photo of it at the Westinghouse plant with a transformer on it. So that's kind of cool. And not the greatest picture, but you can see the car. I have the Erie diagram for the car. And there's something pretty obvious missing on this car. And we'll take a look at the other photograph and we'll see it. So let's go do that. And then we'll take a look at the car. I'll kind of talk over on the screen and you'll see what it looks like in real life at the particular time around when I'm modeling.
Okay, so here is a prototype car at the Westinghouse factory. I don't know, sometime after World War II, mid 50s. I can tell by this, if you can see my mouse here, this is the Westinghouse logo after the war. This is car 7261. So it's in the series of cars. It looks like the cars in the series. Here's the Erie diagram for the car. Are 7260 to 7265. I think I misspoke. I may have said earlier it was 7261. I'm incorrect. 125-ton car, that makes sense. So this is the diagram of it. Now, the one thing that I noticed that is not on the Class 1 Model Works car is right here, is this lug that's on the two ends of the car. You'll see it here and here because it's got 22 feet between lugs. So that there and that there. Then we go back and look at the photograph. Yeah, it's there. There it is. There's the lug. There's a lug. Another thing that I noticed is that the wood decking comes down the slope, and it looks like I can't tell if this right here is just something they threw on the car, or if this comes down all the way to the end. Which I guess would make sense, but it definitely comes down because here it's cut out to go around the lug. And there's one, two. I don't know how many there are. I'm not sure how far apart they are. You look at this end, you can kind of see it here. Looks like they have some bottles laying across them. So again, I'm not sure totally how many there are, but this is the car. You can definitely see it's got the solid bearing trucks underneath it, where the Class 1 car has got the roller bearings. That's okay. We'll wait. One thing I noticed is look at all the graffiti on this car, or not the graffiti. Look at all the chalk marks on the car. And here you can see the coupler much closer in, even closer than the KD 143 I put on it. So that it's definitely closer in than what they send you. This has got at this one end, at least they started, they probably put a box with bushings on it and some cool looking dunnage. So I'll probably do something like that on the end of the car. And I think they're still getting ready to weld this down because there's a box up here. There's bottles laying around. Looks like they have jacks down here, probably to level the car. Since there are no jack pads, they just put a piece of wood and put a jack there and a jack there. I'm assuming that's to level the car out. And then up top, you can see what they did is they came in, they tied the unit down up through this tie down here. There it is with a, nut bolt washer, all that kind of good stuff. The rod came up through, was threaded at the end. They bolted it down. And then this comes all the way down through the car. And you can't really see because it's kind of dark, but there's probably a bolt under here, nut, bolt, washer, everything that holds it on right there. Okay, so that is the car, 7261. And of course, we have 7265, but it's going to be very, very similar to this. Uh, you know, this is the size of transformer that would fit on it. It's a shell form unit. Um, Pretty simple looking, So again, all these transformers aren't real crazy looking things. This is a pretty plain Jane looking thing. You may be able to build this, without having a 3D printed or anything like that, because it looks pretty simple. Anyway, it does have like I said, it has the post-war Westinghouse logo on it. There, over here, this is a "Do Not Hump This Car." I can recognize that. So it probably has that at both. It will have that at both ends. The Westinghouse logo here little sign will probably be only at one end. I'm guessing. I really don't know because this is in the process of being loaded down. So I don't know exactly how many. You probably could figure out one, two, three, maybe five of those across there. The lugs, the wood coming down over the end. I don't see. Yeah, this doesn't give me a view of the car looking down at the deck. You can kind of see how they rolled this. You can't really tell if this wood rolls all the way down. I mean, you can by the photograph, but on this here, you can't really tell. This doesn't really give you a whole lot of information. Well, it gives you a bunch of information, but for us modelers, doesn't really tell you a whole lot. It's interesting. It was built by the Erie at their Dunmore shops in 1948. So that is the actual diagram for the car itself. And this is boom, that's the prototype photo. So I just wanted to show that, say, yeah, their car looks pretty darn good. It doesn't have the lugs, doesn't have the wood all the way over, which are probably simple things to do if you really, really wanted to. But other than that, and the trucks being off, and the coupler being off a little bit. So I don't know, maybe it's got some more issues than I thought. And this one end being high, which we're going to talk about in coming videos. there's more issues with the car, with the model car, not the real car. But that is the real car. So that is the actual prototype. At least at this stage in its career, these cars, rolling stock, locomotives, all these things change over time. So I can't say the Class 1 did a good job, did a bad job. Maybe the one they looked at didn't have those lugs on it. maybe later in a career it didn't have those. Just before it became probably Erie Lackawanna is most likely what this went to after it was the Erie car. But this is the car that I'm going to try to model in the I'm going to call it, 1950s or so, um, at the Sharon Westinghouse plant with a shell form transformer on it. So that is that. And with that, let's get back and talk about some other things I noticed at the B end of the car. Interesting stuff. So let's get into that.
Okay, I lightened this quite a bit so you can see it, but this is the car on a piece of track with a KD coupler gauge. That coupler there, at least on this end, yeah, there's more coming, looks okay. So I'm probably okay with that. But then I went back and I looked at the whole car and I'm like, are my eyes deceiving me? Or does this other end look a little bit higher? Like it's sticking up right, don't mind my finger here, right there. So what I did was I took this KD gauge, put it on this end, rolled the car, and sure enough, it is a little bit higher. And then if I come in and if I push down on this carefully, see the coupler, and it's the car moving, I'm sorry, not the entire car, it's just this end of the car. It's kind of hard to do with one hand holding the camera and touching, pointing, and everything, but I can almost push down. Oh, the whole damn car's coming up. But it does look like it's a little bit high at this end. And if I take, and this is why I read about this, that's why I'm checking it. If I take this straight edge across them, you can see right there, see that opening there? It is kind of sloping down a wee little bit. Now this end, not nearly as bad. It does look to be pretty flush. This end, it does look off a little bit. Now, is that enough to cause me panic? I don't know yet. But I got to see if there's anything you can do to try to get this end. You see that? If I push down on this, you see how it comes down over the truck a little bit and kind of takes away that gap at the left-hand side. I'm pushing down a little bit too much because the coupler pin is pushing the KD gauge up. But, interesting. So it does look like on the car, or on the trucks, I apologize. Let me refocus here and get rid of that real bright light. See if I can pull that back to normal. Woo. It does look like this end, at least on the truck, for some reason, is slightly high. I don't know if I can do something to that. I don't know if I'm going to worry about it. Is it worth worrying about? It does seem to, overall. Now, this is just a little test track. I got to take it over to the layout and try it some more, but it does seem to roll okay. I know there's been some concerns about the car rolling. Something about, you have to push down in the center to seat the roller bearings, but I don't know. It does seem to roll decently, at least here at the bench. Now, again, I'm only at the bench, but that is interesting. That's something to, you may want to check. Get a straight edge. Take your car. I would try without the trucks, because I had it without trucks and it worked okay. And then try it with the trucks and see if you get that little bit of a dip on both ends or one end. I read where both ends are kind of dipping toward the middle. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens or what Class 1 comes back with in terms of a possible fix. I don't know what you do to that. I really don't want to start grabbing a car and bending it and, breaking something. Good Lord. It's the last thing I want to do to an expensive car like this. But okay, so that's one thing I noticed. Okay, I'm trying this. I'm trying to hold the phone is sitting there on the bench between two 1, 2, 3 blocks. I'm trying. So I had the truck on this end off a little bit, so that caused a little bit of the problem. But you see it there on the left. You can see through that. Now watch what happens. I have this straight edge across the car, and if I push right by the 65, I'm going to try to push the far right end down. Oh, I won't quite get it. Let me move my arm over without knocking things down. Let me try it to 70 or so. So if I push there, you see how the end goes down a little bit? And the gap almost disappeared. There, it's back. Then I push down. So I think the end by the coupler is up a little bit. You know, what would you call that? Is that like a, I don't know, 015? Maybe I could measure it with some styrene. But anyway, that is off a little bit. You can see that if I push this end down. I hope that's recording because there's a big record button right by the coupler. Let's see if I move the coupler over this way. Can you still see everything? Right now I can see it. See how that goes down? See? Right there? And I can see it moving from where I'm sitting, you know, up above it, not looking at the phone. I can see things moving. So I don't know. Maybe that is the problem. And if you look at the other side of the car, it doesn't seem nearly as bad. Oh, this will be a joy to do. Hold on a second here. I'm going to try to finagle all this with one hand and blabbing away and moving the phone. And so I move this down. Okay, it's still kind of, oops, is it leaning on the 1x3? Oop, hold on a second here. Let me get these 1x3 blocks where I want them. Is that going to hold the goddamn thing? All right, there, okay. So again, there's the scale rule across the car. This end seems a lot better, or it's not, it is up a little bit, but I'm not sure I would worry about it as much as the other end. You still can see a little bit of light there, but not a ton, you know what I mean? Yeah, it is awful. I do see it moving. So I'm not sure what can be done to, let me pull this back and show you kind of what I'm doing here. So they're the, they're the 1, 2, 3 blocks that I was trying to use to hold the damn thing. So the car right now is just sitting on the bolsters, and if you whoop, see, because what I had somewhat incorrect, the truck, oops, yeah, point rubber, you can see the truck has got a little opening to go around that screw. If you look at it, you can, oops, let me put that on there so you can see. So that goes on there, and then you see that little opening there? That's where it's supposed to slide. Oop, I don't know if I can get this, the darn truck in there, to slide in there. Now, I had this up a little bit too far before. That's why it was off a little bit more. But I fiddled with it, and it clicked down, and now it does kind of slide better on, you know, on both ends. Both of these are meant to sit on. Get this one on. There we go. And you can see it slides inside the, it's right down there. That little screw goes inside the bottom of the truck. All right, so that goes there. Boy, this is a real joy of a video for you guys to watch. So that's that, and then this end is supposed to do the same thing, and the truck seems on there pretty good. You know, they don't seem like they're, you know, wobbly or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. But it is definitely, turn the trucks over, turn the car, you know, from what I look at the bottom of the car, I don't see anything that needs to be snapped or that's out at all. Is that twisted across the length of the car? I can't really tell. Maybe it's a delusion from the freaking, oh, wait a minute. Is that me, or does that look twisted across the car? Let me check something real quick. I wonder if, for this, let me use a smaller rule. Get my other scale rule here. That looked like it was, no, I don't know if I'll be able to tell. Yeah, this is too hard to do with one here. I'll have to check it and see, you know, am I off this way across the car? Because it almost looks a wee bit, if I hold it and look down the car, see how it just looks off a little bit? I can't really tell, to be honest. Trying to hold the phone and look at it, and you know, that side looks a lot better. It looks okay. So maybe it's just this end up here. I don't know. All right, well, more to come. Let's go See what we can do to figure out on this puppy. All right, back at the bench. Now this is bugging me. So I turned the car around. It's back on the trucks. I screwed the trucks back on. And, this definitely looks, let me get a little pointer here. If you look at this, from here to back, it's hard to look at the phone. Up to back, this far corner. This back corner looks higher. You know what I mean? And I can kind of come in, and carefully, push that down. But I think this end is kind of warped up, being up toward the RAL here, up in the back. If that makes any sense. Because I come this end, that looks okay. That looks a lot better. It just seems better to me on this. This is the A end of the car. So it's the B end of the car. This is, B end. And if I take my lovely scale rule, lay it across there you can see the kind of the gap. That if I push you see how it goes down there? Look at that, boom. So I don't know, I gotta play with this some more, but this B end definitely looks a little twisted. So maybe everyone's right. Maybe these cars are off. Now other cars might be off at this end through the whole car, but it doesn't look like from here through the depressed part of the car seems okay. It just seems this end of the car is off. And I'm not a whole lot sure. Doesn't make sense. I'm not sure what I can do to fix this, if anything. Is it enough to bother? Would you notice it on a layout? Does it track okay? Now I got to take it to the layout and run it and see if it runs okay. But again, it still seems to, at least here on the test track, seems to slide okay. Would you ever notice this when you're back? Let me see if I can stand up and not, my weary old bones. You know what I mean? When you're back at layout level with a load on the car, are you going to notice it? Now I'm a little bit bright here. That's because I tried to brighten things so everyone could see. But, all right, we'll leave it alone. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But this end of the car, I think people are right, is definitely off a little bit. This car is warped a little bit. So the people on the internet aren't crazy. I know that you tend to think they are, but looking at this car and they're seeing it. Now, what I wanted to do, if I can, while holding everything, I don't know if I have the room for this. That's what I wanted to do, was look down this end. Let's see, does that look, can I hold it perfectly straight? I don't know. I think I'm tilting the phone, but from what I see, in this upper corner, does look off. It's kind of hard to tell because of the darn, I went way too bright. Sorry about that. Let me bring this back down to reality. I think this B end is off a little bit, so. Woo! What the hell do you do to fix that? I don't know. Maybe it's worth a letter to a quick email to Class 1 Model Works. All right. That's, man, I don't know what to do about that. Let me think about it, and we'll get back and take another look. All right, here we are, handheld over the layout. I couldn't resist. I can definitely tell by looking at the car now that this is the B end. This end is up. But I got to say, I think it rolls pretty nice, because if I... Okay, that's not too bad. All right, let's drone down this way. And then we'll get the car here and... Whoa! Yeah, I think that rolls pretty decently. I can't really complain too much about that. Let's bring it past that turnout. Let me throw that crossover. Come back into the yard. And then take the car. Let's see, let me give this more oomph. You roll it right through this. Oh, it seems to roll okay. So I don't know. Again, maybe that isn't really a huge issue. With what am I doing? I'm not even showing you the car. Seems to. Let's really go crazy here. It rolled all the way out, didn't derail. Oh, okay. Now, what I probably ought to do is haul around with an engine, right? That'll probably make a little bit more sense. But at least so far, yeah, it seems to run okay. I don't know. Yeah, now that I look at it, you can definitely tell the B end is up. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it here on the phone. I'm trying to do it handheld, but you can tell that end is up a little bit. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try running it with one of these locomotives and see what happens. But so far, the car does seem to roll okay. Um, other folks have complained about the rolling action, but to me, it seems okay. And obviously, again, this is the B end, and this end is up a little bit. But okay, more to come. We'll see what transpires here.